The committee on parole is reconvened at 10:05 a.m. Will the offender please introduce yourself and give your Department of Corrections ID?
Thank you, giving me an opportunity this morning.
Sir,
My name
state your name
my name is Romalis Hartwell. My state ID is 470562.
Mr. Hartwell. My name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Ms. Bonnie Jackson, and to my right is Mr. Pete Freeman. We'll compose your parole panel this morning. Let me explain the process to you. I will read some information into the record. Once the information is in the record, we'll conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we'll allow Captain Washington to make remarks if he wishes. And we have with us this morning, in addition, supporters. We have Mr. Harry Myers of the Louisiana Parole Project, Romalis Hartwell, their son, Shalonda Wallace, your sister, Henry Carter, your cousin, and Lindsay Chapman, your brother, Mr. Chapman, Mr. Summerfields, and Mr. Karen Myers will make a statement at the appropriate time. In our position, we have Mr. Randall Myers, Assistant DA from Jefferson Parish, that would like to make a statement. As all these statements, you will be given a chance to make a brief statement at the end. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hartwell, your DOC number is 470562. Your current, matter of fact, I wish you happy birthday. You made 45. You made 45 on yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And coincidentally, your parole date was yesterday on your birthday. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're a first felony offender. Your offenses are in Jefferson Parish, armed robbery. You were sentenced on July 11th, 2003, and you got a 35-year sentence, and you received 378 days jail credit. The second offense was armed robbery with the use of a firearm. It was a penalty phase of the armed robbery, and you received 5 years of having a weapon during the armed robbery, and you also received 378 days jail credit also on that one because it was consecutive to the 35 years that you received for the armed robbery. The total sentence is 40 years, and you have a parole date of May 8th, 2023, a good time adjusted date of January 11th, 2035, and a full term date of June 14th, 2041. Is all this information correct?
Yes, sir.
So you've already got credit for serving 22 years of your 40-year sentence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so let's start. And you've been at the barracks for about a year and a half. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what is your current assignment at the barracks?
I work at fleet operations, where I work on the state trooper calls and state official calls, doing washing and detailing. I had several jobs there, working in a car shop, a fab shop, Also working inside of the porch room, sir.
Okay, and I understand that you got some training in automotive technology before you went to the police barracks?
Yes, sir. I have a degree in auto mechanics, sir.
Okay. I reviewed your supervision history and you've never been revoked. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you've been on supervision, but you completed your supervision satisfactorily. There's nothing you can do about this, Mr. Hartwell, but you do have opposition. You have opposition from the sentencing judge, opposition from the sheriff of Jefferson Parish, and you have opposition from the DA's office in Jefferson Parish. So let's go over your arrest record. And I have a question. Your first arrest was in 1999 for purse statute. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And those charges were refused. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then again in 1999, you were arrested for aggravated burglary. And those charges were refused. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you also arrested in the year 2000 for possession of crack cocaine. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you weren't prosecuted on that charge either, right?
No, sir.
And then the year after 2001, you were arrested for the possession of marijuana. That was refused also. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And again in 2001 for the same charge, and that was refused. What I'm trying to get at, Mr. Hartwell, is that you were arrested 5, 6, 7 times, and all the charges were refused. Do you think if you were incarcerated for that lesser crime early on in your career, would you have committed the armed robbery?
No, sir.
Would you think a little incarceration in the beginning of your criminal career would have helped solve the problem that you had that caused all the criminality in your life?
Yes, sir. If the programs that I obtained since I've been incarcerated on this charge here, yes, sir. I would have learned. I would learn, how to avoid things, how to make better decisions.
Your victims of your crime all have been contacted, and we have received no response from either victim. They did not wish to participate in this hearing. Let's go over your institutional record. As stated, you're 45 years old, you're housed in minimum custody, you have 15 disciplinary write-ups, but I noticed the last 3 write-ups that you got were expunged in 2018. Can you tell me why those disciplinary write-ups were expunged?
They were mishaps where they had me confused with someone else. And the other last one, I tried to diffuse a situation. And I walked away from the situation.
And officials of the facility saw that and they chose to expunge the last 3 write-ups.
Yes, sir.
Your last Class B write-up was in 2016, almost 7 years ago. So tell me what that defiance was all about.
The lady that was working in the kitchen had asked me to work in the back kitchen and help another inmate out. I worked in the front wiping tables, and I was trying to explain to her that they never issued me the proper gear to work in the back. I didn't have any rubber boots, and it was kind of slippery. It was a Wednesday, and it was serving chicken, and it had grease and stuff all over the floor. And I was trying to explain to her that I would slip and fall and hurt myself if I was to work back there in the kitchen. And she disregarded, you know what I'm saying, the proper equipment that was supposed to be given to me.
I understand. I understand. Some of the things that you've accomplished, you earned a GED. When did you earn the GED?
In 07, sir, in Angola.
I see you have a technical degree in carpentry.
I obtained that in DCI in 2011.
And I also see that you have an award of excellence with fleet operation. After only 2 years with fleet operation, tell me about that award of excellence.
Well, I was given a duty to perform, and I went in to perform my duties and to make best of my duty and to give to fleet all of that they was looking for and expected in performance. That way they will be able to issue out the units in good care, in good operation to state trooper officers to perform their job as efficient as possible, sir.
Okay, so let's talk about your programs. Let's start with parenting skills, and could you mention some of the other programs that you've completed?
Okay, with parenting skills, I chose.
You don't have to talk, just call them off. Which programs did you complete?
I completed parenting skills. I completed anger management. I completed drug abuse. I completed Christianity, faith-based. Also completed so far as like CPR classes.
Let me help you out. You completed 100 hours pre-release. You completed denial management, fatherhood program. Tell me about the fatherhood program.
Fatherhood program taught me how to become a father to my son from incarceration, and it gave me the skills to connect with my son, to help guide him in a positive direction. And I know it would have been difficult for him because his father was incarcerated, sir. So I had to find a way that I could connect with my son to try to help him develop as a young Black man here in America.
Now, I see that you attend NAAA classes at the Barracks. When did you first use illegal drugs?
When I was a teenager, sir, at the age of 15, I was smoking marijuana. I was in the streets running with some bad kids, you know, just looking for some kind of attention and, you know, security as a youngster. You know, I ran the streets, you know, to try to get some understanding and some freedom of myself, you know, and trying to find out who I was, because I was raised by a single parent.
And now, did you graduate to anything stronger than marijuana?
Yes, sir. I use heroin. Cool. And that's it.
How often did you use heroin and cocaine?
I used heroin for like over a year, and my family helped me. They helped me get into a program to try to deal with my addiction because I was lost. My mind, it was somewhere else. And I was trying to find myself. And during the course of my family helping me, I started to realize how important it was for me to become sober and try to accept life as it is and deal with it and find solutions to my matters.
Now, did you complete that program?
Yes, sir.
Did you commit this armed robbery with a firearm after you completed that program?
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you used illegal drugs?
In 2002.
And when did you commit this robbery?
In 2002, sir.
Were you on drugs?
Yes, sir.
And since your incarceration, you have not used any illegal drugs.
No, sir.
I see where you completed Living in Balance, parts 1 and 2. Do you have an ongoing sobriety plan? What's your plan to stay sober?
I attend NA meetings. We sit at a group and we talk to each other and talk about our issues and our problems and what drove us to become addicts and to admit that we are addicts and we have a disease that we're going to have to live with our entire life and that we're going to have to attend these meetings to stay sober.
So you've answered my next 2 questions. Are you a drug addict? And you said yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
You have a disease, and you said you did have a disease. And you have to treat that disease the rest of your life.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is a question. Think about it for 5 seconds and answer me. You've already completed Living in Balance, you attend AA meetings. Do you think that you need any additional substance abuse treatment before you're released?
Yes, sir. I need NA for the rest of my life.
Do you need a substance abuse program that will give you some more ammunition to help you to maintain your track?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your transition plan.
I've joined with Parole Project for support. They're going to provide for me, help me find employment, residential plan. Also, I have my family to support me as well. They have a job for me. They have a residential plan. They have a residence for me. They can provide me with finances, transportation, moral support.
The Parole Project is your initial transition plan. But after the Parole Project, where are you going to live and where will you be employed?
I will connect with my family, with my sister. She's have decided to to take me in her residence. She have a job provided for me.
That's in Harvey, Louisiana, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're gonna be working at Mel T's Donuts and Joe's Cafe in Gretna?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that job been confirmed?
Yes, sir.
Captain Washington, do you have any comments, remarks, or observations?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all again. Ro has been with us for a little bit over a year, and it's been a pleasure to be around. He's always got a smile on his face, always looking to help. We've had several projects where he's volunteered to assist us with. And like you said, at Fleet, they value him. They appreciate the hard work that he does for them. So I'm happy that he has this opportunity to be before y'all today.
Let me just check to see if I have any more questions, Mr. Hartwell. And I did see your letter that you wrote to Mr. Francis Abbott. And in that letter, you requested a transitional work program. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I think you can't do a transitional work program in a substance abuse treatment program. And I think the substance abuse treatment program is more important than the transitional work program. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions?
I have a question. What do you feel is more important? I mean, I see where you've already addressed that you're going to attend AA and AA when you get out and join a group. Do you think that's enough to maintain your sobriety and work release is more important, or you think you need the drug treatment?
I believe the drug treatment.
Good night. Thank you. Bye.
And that completes my interview. Thank you, Dr. Washington. Your information was most valuable.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Kerry Myers, the Louisiana Parole Project. Mr. Myers.
Yes, good morning. Terry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. Here to say that Mr. Hartwell is a client of Parole Project. Should this board grant him his release today, Parole Project is prepared to assist him in his transition. One of the first things he'll get is through our social worker is a substance abuse evaluation, and we'll make sure that after that evaluation, whatever recommendations come from that, that Mr. Hartwell will follow those recommendations. While he's with us, he will get his programming in social norms and in finance and in financial management and banking. He'll learn how to use his debit card. He'll get connected to the services that he needs. He'll understand consumer skills. And while he's in our program, he'll understand how to interact with employers and his family. He'll also, once he completes our program, as he said, he has a home with his sister and a job waiting for him. So Parole Project is prepared to assist him throughout his transition. Once he gets that evaluation, we'll connect him to the services that he needs. It is possible that we could, if that evaluation determines that he needs some additional treatment, that we could get him. There's a 30-day program here in Baton Rouge at Capillary Human Services, and that's a in residence program that we could upon his release we could once we determine that there's space for him, we could get him enrolled in that program contingent upon his release. And so that is something, if the board believes he needs that that program, we can do that. So we would just ask this board to consider everything in its totality. Again, we haven't reached out to CARP yet, but we can before contingent upon his release.
Mr. Myers, the program at capital area, is it at the expense of the offender?
It is, but he'll be eligible for Medicaid, and Medicaid will, even though he will initiate his Medicaid upon his release. But we've worked with CARP before on this, even though it takes a few days for that to initialize. They work with us on that.
Mr. Myers, Ms. Shalonda Wallace, would you open your mic and give us your statement? You're still on, you're on mute. Your mic is still muted.
Okay. Wait.
Hey,
Can you,
hey,
can you,
there you go. Yes, ma'am.
yes, hi, I'm Shalon Wallace. I'm Romalis' sister. Throughout his incarceration over the years, I've watched him over the years, I've communicated. We are close-knit brother and sister. He's my baby brother. And within talking to him and hearing his conversation, this really has been an experience for him. And he has learned from it, and he's truly regrets it because he was.
You muted again, Ms. Wallace. Okay, we can hear you again. Yes.
He was a chance to be another chance, an opportunity to prove that he's a changed person. And I believe in my heart that he is. He's like it was said that he has a job. He's going to be living with me, and he's going to be employed at the place that I'm employed as well.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Lindsay Chapman.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay Chapman. I am Romalis' older brother. This situation here is very personal to me because I've sat and I've listened a little bit, and I want to talk to you as a testament as to who he is. I am and was his role model. I have a degree from the University of California, Berkeley. I left Louisiana a little bit, and while I was there, my brother was a very smart, striving student. As I was chasing my dreams and completing my professional career, I made a mistake, and I left my brother behind. And noticing that mistake, once I became very stable in financial business district, I reached back for him, and he had an opportunity, and he came out and he lived with me. He lived with me, and we had a plan, and he started his GED. I had opportunity to help him with and learning how to study, and he was a straight A student at the GED program here in the Bay Area. We had a program, we had a process where he was going to attend junior college, and then he was going to go to college. And unfortunately, we had a setback. My mom had something where he had to move back to Louisiana. And quite frankly, board, had he not left, we wouldn't even be sitting here. We wouldn't even be sitting here talking about this today, because the testament as him as a person, he's very smart, and opportunity is here for him. I also have a career for him. I am the Northern California safety director here for electrical contractor, and also the Texas region regional safety director there. And I know my brother's now mechanically inclined because I've talked to him throughout the years. and I could set him on a path for a career. And I do know that within our construction background, we reach out to those that have a reentry program, and we're seeking out guys that actually are coming for a second chance in life, because we found that those people that come and they're willing to work, they come and they're our best employees, and they go on and produce very productive lives. My brother made a mistake, and I think that those things that that happened to him with the drug choices and everything that you read earlier today, sir, and when we want to talk about rehabilitation and we want to talk about a model of that, every program that you've read that you said that he has completed, one, trying to be a better father for his son, taking those things up, getting the mechanical skills and having a trade as he come out to be a productive citizen in this community. He's done those programs, and most of all, he's attacking his drug addiction head on. And I believe with that support, he only needs an opportunity. He's not asking for a handout. He's only asking for an opportunity. And his family is here to support him with that. With all these other things that's happening, I'm definitely here to make sure, once again, that he succeeds.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman. Thank you. Romalis Hartwell.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning. Can you give us your statement?
Yes, sir. I would say my father's shortcomings had taught me many lessons on how not to live. However, though, his guidance and mentorship taught me mostly everything I know about being a great leader. And I would say my father has expressed his remorse on many conversations that we have and we have had. I've watched and been affected through the result of his choices, but that ultimately cost Big Romalis, we call him Big Romalis from the dad, but that ultimately cost the Big Romalis 21 years of his life from his family, society, and me, his son. And I'll say my father has continuously instilled, the importance of following and abiding by the law. And he has taught me to never do anything to jeopardize my freedom, ever. And he encouraged me to go to college and to get my education. And his guidance strongly influenced me to join the United States Navy, where I am doing pretty good.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
At this time, I don't see Mr. Randy Myers. Is Mr. Randy Myers?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Randy Myers of the Jefferson Parish DA's office. Mr. Myers.
Sir, Randall Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. We're opposed at this time his request for parole. He had 2 counts of armed robbery, sentenced to 40 years each on each count concurrent without benefit of parole. We feel he does need long-term substance abuse treatment before he's considered for release. And is a little bit concerned with his disciplinary report, but that has gotten better over the last few years. So for those reasons, we're opposed.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Big Romalis, would you like to give a closing statement?
Yes, sir. First, I would like to say I'm sorry for the crime that I committed. And I will affect the lives of the people that I offended. Miss Faith Foster, Miss Faith Phillips, and Miss Tina Foster, and Mr. Troy Tran, the owner of the store. Through the course of being incarcerated and taking these programs, it have given me the opportunity to understand my position as a person who made a mistake in life and understand how not to make these mistakes again. Also try to help others prevent from making these mistakes. And I just ask, the is for the panel to consider my parole, that give me another chance in life.
Thank you, Mr. Hartwell. Mr. Hartwell,
Thank you for having me, sir.
is the panel ready to vote? Mr. Hartwell, I'm going to vote first because your case was assigned to me. Mr. Hartwell, you have served over 50% of your sentence. You served 22 years of a 40-year sentence. You have positive remarks for fleet operations. Matter of fact, we have a letter from Ms. Lynn Meloson, who praises the work that you do in fleet operations. We have additional letters of recommendation and support from other staff members at the barracks. You have good family support. You've completed good programs, and you have a good transition plan. I think what you need to top it off is some additional substance abuse treatment. And I know that Louisiana Parole Project can supply that to you, but I want to make sure that you get it. So I'm going to grant your request upon completion of a DOC long-term substance abuse program. I'm not going to specify the length. I'm not going to specify the place. I'm going to leave that up to DOC. They will give you an evaluation and determine which program is best for you. But you must complete a DOC substance abuse program before release. Once released, I want you to have, let me get my notes. I want you to have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I want you to maintain full-time employment. And I want you to do some community service at 4 hours a month. Get with your parole officer, get with your pastor of your church, and find some community service at the rate of 4 hours a month. And I want you to attend at least 3 NAAA meetings a week. You understand those conditions?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Vonnie Jackson.
All right, Mr. Hartwell. Do you sing in the prison church choir?
Yes, ma'am.
Your favorite song?
Trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Well, my vote today is the same as Mr. Roche's for the same reason, still up.
Mr. Freeman.
I concur with my colleague. My vote's the same.
Mr. Hartwell, you have received 3 votes to grant your request upon completion of a DOC substance abuse program. After release, curfew from 9 to 6, attend 3 NAAA meetings a week, do some community service at the rate of 4 hours a month, and you must maintain full-time employment. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Frankly, if there wasn't someone more deserving, what we've seen in a long time. Now, I was going to rage at how ridiculous his sentence was and how absolutely insane it is that the judge was opposed his early release.
even the DA and his little robot image over there, Randy Meyer, his crime was more complex than just robbery. There was a very violent, traumatizing component to it, and we'll read about that. But the bottom line is that he was given 40 years. We've seen people that have taken lives that have received or have served less time than even his 22 years that he served. And again, the idea that the judge would oppose, it's like, that just says a lot about a judge. Someone like that should not be a judge. I know it's easy for me to say without knowing anything about this judge, but clearly this man is ready to be free. And the idea of going to this program, it's like, oh, come on, really? You think he really needs to go to like a Steve Hoyle program before he goes free? But I guess they're saying it can't hurt, you know, if it bakes in some, you know, extra understanding, if it indoctrinates him into the whole philosophy and having a sponsor and all that, then maybe it is worth it. But it's like, if you believe him that he hasn't touched anything in 22 years, and yeah, that is saying something, because it's very easy to do stuff in there. But let's just touch up on his crime a little bit. So it was on June 21st. This is part of his appeal, and I'll put the link in the description. Thank you, Richard. And while you're reading this, please do like and subscribe, or while you're listening to me read this. So it was 2002, June 21st, a nice summer day in Louisiana. And he mentioned the victims, Foster and Phillips, were working at the Golden Beauty Supply on Ames Boulevard in Marrero, Louisiana, when a man entered the shop. Foster, the manager, testified that the man whom she had seen before entered the shop after she let him in with the store's automatic buzzer. You know, it can't be a great neighborhood when you have a buzzer to get into a beauty shop. After the other customers left the store, the defendant put his hand under his shirt and approached Foster. He pulled a sun visor down over his face and said, "This is a robbery. Get on the floor." The defendant struck the cash register until it opened. So, you know, he's cursing. He's he put his hand under his shirt, so he hasn't pulled it out yet. He's hidden the cash register, and then he removed approximately $200 to $300 from the register. But he wanted to know where the rest of the money was kept. Foster told him it was in the floor safe. The defendant became enraged, and then at this point he placed the thing that goes bang. I have to say that because just with YouTube you don't know. To Foster's head and demanded the money from the safe. So you see, like, they didn't go into the details, but it was a violent, traumatic crime, right? And I think it is important to point that out, because without seeing this, it's much more infuriating to hear about a sentence. Now, he said there was supposed to be a safe in the back. Foster said that the only safe she knew was the floor safe, which she did not have the keys. The two women were ordered to kneel on the floor with their hands behind their heads. That's so scary. It's you know, they said they decided they didn't want to partake in this hearing. And but I wouldn't have been, you know, we've seen many victims show up who have experienced this type of experiences, and And you can still see the trauma and hear in their face and hear it in their voice. Foster testified that she believed that they were about to die and that she prayed as she knelt. Eventually, Foster heard the door open and close. At that point, she discovered that the robber had left the store. Foster testified that both ladies' purses, earrings, jewelry, a lot of the clippers, scissors, and everything off the back shelf had been stolen. Then it goes into basically how they caught them, and he actually showed up to people's houses trying to sell the clippers, and he told people that he robbed it. And they were able to, after the investigation, they discovered that the car was registered to Carter. Carter Miller went to the detective bureau when they related the events that led to return to Foster's belongings. Miller also identified the defendant's photograph lineup, but basically they were able to catch them. A 12-person jury found them guilty, and then they basically said, well, I had an alibi that wasn't good, and they said, there was no fingerprints, and it could have been, the eyewitness account. How do you know it was accurate? And they basically go through the facts about why. The defendant claimed that they should have believed his alibi witness. However, it was noted that Summersville's testimony was internally inconsistent because she claimed that she had left Golden Beauty in 2002, but she was pregnant in May. But she was pregnant. That she discovered she was pregnant on June 21st, the day of the robbery. The defendant and Summersville testimony also conflicted. She claimed that she discovered she was pregnant on the day of the robbery, while the defendants claimed it was a few days before the robbery. Anyways. So do you feel now that you have the facts of this crime, that his sentence was too harsh? He was sentenced to 40 years. He ends up serving 22. Maybe it will be 23 after finishing his program. Now, something is interesting to bring up is that Mr. Roche asked him, do you think that if you had been incarcerated earlier, would it have helped you? I thought that was an interesting question. And his default answer was yes. We don't really know, but it does clearly seem that incarceration did help him. I mean, we heard from his witnesses, he's a smart guy. He had a lot going for him. And, it was a path of narcotics that just threw him into this terrible place. And, maybe having gotten a little bit of a long sentence early on could have helped him. But, you never know. You hear people who get locked up to serve 3 years, and then they say, well, it completely wrecked my life because I could never get a job, and I couldn't get the scholarships, and I couldn't. And if they just didn't do that, then things would have been different. So we don't really know, but it is still an interesting question. He did end up, because he kept really getting away with it. All of his offenses, he didn't serve time for. He has no felony. This was his first felony. But still, I have a very difficult time understanding how a judge would give him 40 years when he didn't pull the trigger, he didn't pistol whip anyone, he didn't have any prior felonies. And I guess they just threw the book at him because he went to trial. You know, he could have taken a plea deal and gotten much less time, surely. But I guess if you do want to look at the bottom line, glass half full and all of that, this is, I would say, a situation where incarceration helped, where rehabilitation was true, where, I mean, I think we can feel good that he's going to do really well and excel in society and be a contributor to his community and not end up back in prison. It's always great to see these cases, but that's also just my opinion. So I'd love to hear yours. We're not an echo chamber. It's important that we don't agree. And please do like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. It really does. It also gives me a endorphin rush whenever I see it. So with that, I'll let you go.